YouTube, Todd here again. Quick video on my kind of review of the game and a playthrough review from Game FAQ of Panzer General 2. Now, let me say this, start with, I'm not a gamer. I don't get into the real-time games. I don't know. I just don't. I started playing this first Panzer General in 94, and then Panzer General 2 came out in 97. There's a whole series of games that went with this. Allied General, Pacific General, the People's General, Panzer General 3 came out later. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think the later ones were Windows based. But they went out of production. It's hard to find them. I finally found Panzer General 2 only at goodoldgames.com or GOG.com. I'll put a link down in the description. This is a turn. If you're not familiar with the game, it's a turn-based strategy war game set in World War II. And you can either play the side of the Axis with Allies, Panzer General, so kind of Germany. That's the side I've always played. Never tried it from the Allied side. Maybe I should. I can't even begin to tell you how this game's 21 years old. I've played it thousands of times, tried different strategies, and I found a really good one that I'm tweaking, which is the reason for this video, on Game FAQs. .gamespot.com by Beaglehead_2, and he takes a really I guess intuitive way, even though I hadn't, after I see a strategy, it does make a lot of sense, where he's very tank heavy. The name of the game in this game is not only managing your resources, but also experience. And the point I'm getting to, he is very tank heavy in his forces, with 8 by the end. All Panther Gs, 6 infantry, all engineers, 4 to 6 towed artilleries, 2 to 3 self-propelled artilleries, 2 to 4 recon units, 6 fighters, and 6 bombers. Glaring problem to me that I see is the cost. These are all pretty expensive, with the exception of the tanks. The Panther tanks, that's where he saves his money. The Panther Gs are not, compared to like the Tigers and all that. But everything else, the fighters and bombers. The other problem that I saw playing it through was that, like with the 8 tanks, that's great to have, but you always seem to end up with a third to maybe a half of my forces, of my tanks, with very little experience, and they really couldn't go up head to head against enemy tank units, or really any other unit. So, and then he does a great job kind of detailing his advancement of forces all the way from the first scenario all the way through the U.S. scenarios, which I actually don't like to play. I like to get to Britain, Windsor 43 to the stop. But with those two problems in mind, I think I've come up with a way to solve that, at least for me. Where instead of making my tank fleet all, and he stays with Panzer III's until he can get Panzer IIIH's when they become available for most of the game, and those are good tanks. The problem, they're a little bit weak when they go up against infantry units, but they're a lot cheaper than the Panzer IV-D, which is really good against infantry. They're more expensive and they're weak against tanks. So that's where he saves his money, and and can afford, I guess, the other units. So my idea is to split in the middle. Then instead of 8, probably 6, maybe 7 tanks. But I want quality over quantity, I guess, if that makes sense. So more experienced tanks, and then instead of staying with the same model tank, 3 E's or 3 H's, I'm going to throw in some 3, or is it 4 C's? 3 C's and 4 D's when the 4 D's become available, because they're that much better. The 3 E's and 3 H's they just struggle against infantry. I guess because of their armor and armament. But to have, to kind of take that combined arms, not just tanks, artillery, on and on and on, but even different types of tanks. And I guess you could take that to the nth too, with different fighters, different bombers, so on and so forth. But I think so far that'll work. I've tried it a couple of times. It does work better. You save money over a fleet of nothing but 4D tanks, right? Because you're throwing in the 3 E's and 3 H's. The 6 fighters and bombers, probably the same way. I'm probably going to scale that back to maybe 5, because I found the same thing. And just when you need, a good hit from a fighter or bomber, all you have available, it's not tied up on something else, is a more rookie unit. But so far, I'm to the Norway scenario. And another tip to playing this game, if you do download and play it, if you're not familiar with it, if you give it a try, I think you'll really like it. If you like turn-based games, it's more of a chess type game. It's not this bang bang shoot 'em up type game. It really makes you think on a strategic and even a tactical level on what you're doing and what your moves are, and planning your moves. 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. Really, I guess the whole scenario. But it's combined arms, tanks, infantry, your air power, artillery. So you really do have to kind of combine all that. A couple of tips. Always go for a brilliant victory, with the exception of what scenario is that? If you get, it's Dunkirk. Yeah. Don't get a brilliant victory at Dunkirk. Wait. Go ahead and take all your cities, all your objectives. Wait. That'll take you to Malta. And then get a brilliant victory there. When you get a brilliant victory, the game sometimes will give you a bone. It'll give you a prototype unit. Right before the last move to take your brilliant victory, save the game, get back in, and keep doing that until you get a prototype unit. You may or may not use that prototype unit. You may get some kind of anti-tank weapon or something that you're not going to use. That's fine. Keep it, sell it in headquarters, and that 300 to 500 prestige is really valuable, and it does add up. I guess that's about it. Make sure right before, some of the scenarios, it's going to be all you can do to get a great victory. Some of them you'll have several turns in advance, but just surround the final hex, and so that the computer doesn't keep putting an anti-tank unit or something you gotta battle with. You have to play aggressively but conservatively too. If you get too aggressive, it will make you pay. You'll end up losing some core units, and you really can't do that because you're looking at experience. So save off, and I guess that's about it. If I get a lot of responses or people requesting screenshots and this, that, and the other, happy to do that. Got a lot of other things planned I want to do as far as videos. Again, Panzer General 2 is the name of the game. You can purchase it. The Windows, well, it's not. I guess it is Windows based. I guess they rewrote however they did that. But Good Old Games, GOG.com. I'll put a link for this FAQ too, because I think it's really good. Maybe some of you guys can come up, can make this work better for you than it did for me. And if anybody's interested, how my 2 cents on kind of tweaking his strategy worked, then I'll come up with a final video. I guess that's it. Please remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and have a good evening.